Give him this money and these notes, Ronaldo.
I will, my lord.
You shall do marvelous wisely good, Ronaldo, before you visit him, to make sure you inquire of his behavior.
My lord, I did intend it.
Very well said, very well said. Look, you sir, inquire me first what danskers are in Paris, and how, and who, what means, and where they keep, what company, at what expense. And finding by his encompassment and drift of question that they do know my son, come you more nearer than your particular demands will touch it. Take you, as 'twere some distant knowledge of him, as thus I know his father and his friends, and impart him. Do you mark this, Ronaldo?
Aye, very well, my lord.
And impart him, but you may say not well. But if it be, but I mean his very wild, addicted so-and-so, and there put on him what forgeries you please, marry, none so rank as may dishonor him. Take heed of that. But, sir, such wanton, wild, and unusual slips as our companions noted and most known to youth and liberty.
What they just said was, Polonius' son Laertes is now in Denmark, and he wants Ronaldo to go look after him and ask around if they know him, but not just straight up like, is Laertes a bad person? He wants them to ask like non-specific questions so he can get to know them better and figure out if he is doing bad things, running around with people, gambling a lot. And so the money is for Laertes and the notes are for him, and he's just trying to check up on him.
As gaming, my lord.
Aye, or drinking, fencing, swearing, quarreling, drabbing. You may go so far.
My lord, that would dishonor him.
Faith, no. As you may season it in the charge, you must not put another scandal on him, that he is open to incontinency. That's not my meaning, but breathe his faults so quaintly, that they may seem the taints of liberty, the flash and outbreak of a fiery mind, a savageness in unreclaimed blood, of general assault.
But, my good lord.
Wherefore should you do this?
Aye, my lord, I would know that.
Marry, sir, here's my drift, and I believe it is a fetch of wit. You laying these slight sullies on my son, as 'twere a thing a little soiled I the working. Mark you, your parties in converse, him you should sound. Having ever seen in the preeminent crimes the youth you breathe of guilty, be assured he closes with you in this consequence. Good sir, or friend, or gentleman, according to the phrase of the edition of Man and Country.
Probably like, what? But Polonius was telling Ronaldo, he was like, why should I do this? And he's like, I want you to tell people, like, oh, Laertes throwing some small sins in, like, does he gamble, does he hang out with prostitutes? Or Ronaldo's like, why would you want to make your son look bad? But Polonius is like, oh, I came up with this amazing idea, I'm awesome. If you throw in stuff like that, like small ones, watch the reaction, and then you'll learn more about them by befriending them and seeing if Laertes is doing bad stuff while he's in Denmark. Because he's his son, and he wants to check up on him. So he's sending the servant.
Very good, my lord.
And then, sir, does he this? He does? What was I about to say? By the mass, I was about to say something. Where did I leave?
At close in the consequence, at friend or so, and gentleman.
At close in this consequence, aye, marry. He closes thus. I know the gentleman. I saw him yesterday, or the other day, or then, with such or such, and as you say, there was gambling, there or took in ruse. There's falling out of tennis, or perchance I saw him enter a house for sale, Vedelicit, a brothel, or so forth. See you now, or your bait of falsehood takes this carp of truth, and thus do we of wisdom and of reach, with wildness and with essays of bias. By indirection find directions out. So by my formal lecture and advice shall you, my son, you have me, have you not?
My lord, I have.
God be with you. Farewell.
Good, my lord.
Observe his inclination in yourself.
I shall, my lord.
Shakespearean English isn't top notch. They were just talking. Ronaldo agreed to go on the trip. Polonius was like, yeah, he'll be like, yeah, you're my friend, I see what you're saying, and he'll start to tell him more than he would if he approached him the wrong way. But then, right before he leaves, Polonius says, Ronaldo, make sure you don't just trust the gossip, try and find Laertes and see it yourself. And then they just say, have a safe trip, I'll see you later. And that's the end of their conversation.
And let him ply his music.
Well, my lord.
Farewell.
Farewell.
How now, Ophelia? What's the matter?
Oh, my lord, I have been affrighted.
With what in the name of God?
My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet, with his doublet all embraced, no hat upon his head, his stockings fouled, ungartered and down guyed to his ankle, pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous and purport, as if he had been loosed out of hell, to speak of horrors, he has come before me.
Match for thy love?
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What said he?
He took me by the wrist and held me. He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then he goes to the length of his full arm, and with his other hand thus o'er his brow, he falls to such perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head thus waving up and down, he raised a sigh so piteous and profound, as it did seem shatter all of his bulk. And in his being that done, he lets me go. And with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes. For out o' doors he went without their helps, and to the last bound their light on
So
me.
I know the text probably isn't getting any easier for you guys, Sarah, but I'm here to help out. Reynaldo has just said farewell to Polonius. He's off to Paris to do the thing with Laertes, his master plan. So enter Ophelia, Polonius' other child, his daughter, and she has just seen Hamlet all crazy. They were talking about how he was so pale and his clothes were undone and he looked all ragtag. And we know that's because from Act 1 he's seen his dad as a ghost and he's all freaked out. But they think it's because Hamlet's in love with her, but the dad, Polonius, told her to stop accepting love letters and to stop flirting back with him. So like, oh no, like he actually does like you, it's not just him messing around with you. So they are going to go to the king, and they think they know why he's acting crazy, but really only us as the reader knows from Act.
Come, go with me. I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property foredoes itself, and leads the will to the desperate undertakings. As oft as any passion under heaven that does afflict our natures, I am sorry. What have you given him? Any hard words of late?
No, my good lord, but as you did command, I did repeal his fetters and denied his access to me.
That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not quoted him. I feared he did but trifle, and meant to wreck thee. But beshrew my jealousy. By heaven, it is as proper to our age, to cast beyond ourselves and our opinions, as it is common for the younger sort to lack discretion. Come, go we to the king. This must be known, which, being kept close, might move. More grief to hide than hate to utter love.
Alright, I'm here to save the day for last time. So Mackenzie, you can take out your headphones, there's only one more. But as you saw, Polonius and Ophelia just had the conversation about how Hamlet came to her and he was all pale and shaking and breathing like he was about to die, but he never said anything, he just had a weird look in his eye. And so he leaves, and Polonius concludes that, oh, he's love crazy, like obviously that's his issue. We have to go tell the king, it's going to be worse if we don't tell them. So that's what they think's wrong with him, but we all know the issue.